Learn to be in your own reality. One thing I've realized is that people spend a lot of time solving problems that don't even exist in their lives, not because those problems are real, but because they've consumed so much information about them that their brain starts preparing for them anyway. Something that I learned with being on social media and stuff is, you can just say like, oh, well, this is a person that I'm watching, and is they're having their experience and they're sharing their experience online, and it's truth. But I don't think people really understand the concept of how when someone shares their experience, it's not your truth, and it actually has nothing to do with you. And I think a lot of times people listen to other people's experiences and stories, yes, for entertainment, but also because they resonate with it on some level and they take it into their reality. And the thing is, like the way that our brains are, it starts solving problems for the person that they got the information from, right? And a lot of times that can bring, disarray, stress. It can really distort your viewpoints, influence your decisions. And that's something that I'm starting to learn now, especially with being more intentional with being on social media or even interacting with people in my daily life, is that I'm paying attention to who I'm listening to, who I'm getting my information from, because while some information can be good, the bad, you're subconsciously taking that in as well. Like you're absorbing that shit and then projecting it into your reality, but it really has nothing to do with you in the first place. Your experience is your experience, and you're going to go through life and your experiences are still going to happen to you regardless of what you hear online or from other people around you. Yes, you can, listen to other people for their like maps and tools and warnings, because that's essentially what their information is. But at the end of the day, reality is going to stress test you. And, you're going to have to make decisions based on where you are, where you've done the work or haven't done the work. And you don't really want to, take on or believe in something that doesn't even exist in your reality, right? I don't really think people see the severity of this. See, something that I've done in my life is that I don't really, or I'm not really on social media like that. Like, I don't like have various outlets like Instagram, Facebook, all that kind of stuff. And I'm very intentional about the content that I consume, even on YouTube. And I do this specifically for this reason, is that, I don't want to internalize beliefs, experiences of other people into my reality. Because often when I was listening to this content, I would be really stressed out, or I'd be overthinking, or, it would bring out insecurity and stuff. But in my lived reality, it was peaceful and people were like chill towards me. And I had very good experiences. And I wasn't really having those experiences that people online were having. And I really had to take a step back and be like, why am I stressed about things that aren't even happening in my life? Why am I worried about relationship problems I don't have? Why am I worried about people betraying me when the people in my actual life are treating me well? There's so many variables to each one of us that all our experiences really are going to be different. This isn't to say that what people say isn't like important. I don't know why people kind of go around and say like, oh, we're all the same. But it's like, no, we're not. We're all very different, and we're all on different timelines. We all have different attachment styles. We all have different ways we handle stress. We all have different ways that we engage with people and interact with the world around us. Like it's not, we're all not going to have the same experience. So, take everything that you hear with a grain of salt. Even with me, I come on here and share my experiences, but at the end of the day, these are my experiences. And you should take my information with a grain of salt. So, this isn't to say that you can't listen to other people's experience, because, you may resonate with it on some level, but I really do think you should believe what you're seeing in your own reality. Answer and solve problems that are existing in your lived reality. Pay attention to how life is responding to you. Be honest about what you're actually going through, and don't allow people to project things that you haven't experienced. It really shows me that information is not just here to inform us, but actually it's programming our expectations. So you really are, when they use that quote of like, you are what you eat. So if you're consuming, horror stories, betrayal stories, relationship failures and stuff like that, your brain's going to start expecting those outcomes. not because they're happening, but because that's the data that you're feeding it. Our brains are extremely sensitive and they absorb pretty much everything that you feed it. So you really have to be intentional about the content that you're consuming, literally. So my question for you is, are you responding to your reality or someone else's? Thanks for watching.